From the Skyterra Wellness Retreat, this is the Inspired Intentions Podcast, where we help people build the skills and mindset to live a healthy life. Hey everyone, before we dive into today's episode, if you've been enjoying our podcast, take a moment to rate and review. It may seem like a small thing, but our ratings and reviews make a huge difference in the quality of our show. They help us reach more listeners like you so we can continue bringing you more amazing content. So, if you've found inspiration, learned something new, or just love tuning in every week, please rate the Inspired Intentions Podcast 5 stars and leave us a review and even share with a friend. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Now let's get into the show. Inspired Intentions listeners, welcome again. I am excited to have a similar conversation as we had last year at this time. It has been an entire year since we did a topic about New Year's and the idea of it. And before we dive into that, I just wanted to celebrate a little bit because last year, Rachel, my co-host, who's
Hi,
here in
Alan.
the booth with me, so happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
Do you know Skyterra Inspired Intentions, we released 18 episodes last year?
That sounds right.
18. I counted right before we got on here.
Oh,
Yeah. And at this time last year, we did a kind of similar episode to what we're doing today.
yeah. This is a good topic, I think, and I'm excited to give updated information to our listeners.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that. Looking back, is always fun. Some of the stuff that we talked about last year, talked about fall some. I think one of my favorites was our stand-up paddleboard episode that we did with April. That was a really good one.
And we kind of bombarded April the day before you recorded and said, would you be willing to do a podcast? And April is so lovely and such a thoughtful person who takes a lot of time to prepare. And I think it kind of took her off guard, but she did so well.
She did really well. I'd have her back on here any day. She did. She was literally just in her office taking phone calls. And I think another one that I really enjoyed from last year was the Norwegian 4x4 episode.
Yeah. I'm glad you reminded me of that because that was with Ryan. That was so powerful. And I remember thinking, I'm going to implement this. And then I didn't.
But you're still on your run streak.
I am still on my run streak. November 11th was 6 years.
Wow.
And so that was 2,200, maybe 21 days in a row. I'm not exactly sure on the last two, but it was definitely 2,200 something.
Well, you still got time. That can be a whole nother thing this new year. Norwegian 4x4.
Oh, yes. Yes. It could be. Thanks for that reminder.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, this is a little bit of a cheat talking about my favorite podcast, but not in 2024, but in 2024, we recorded a podcast with you talking about the blue ghosts here. And the blue ghost fireflies, which come around in the spring for a very short amount of time. It's just such a special feature of Western North Carolina. And we actually re-released that podcast because you had done such a good job on it. So, and we send that out in an email. We put it on social media, and that is always really well received.
That was fun. Are you going to come back and look at them this year with us?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Was really I think that was 2021 or 2022. That was such a highlight of whatever year that was.
I think it was 21.
Oh my gosh.
It's been time. I've got new spots that we go to now, and like last year was the best year for them that I've ever had. I think the weather was really nice, but just quantity. Like there were what you and I experienced together. Think of that like times 10.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You should definitely come back in the spring.
Listeners, just so you know a little bit more about what we're describing, and this is not what today's topic is about at all, but you hike in the dark to a spot that's somewhere deep in the woods, and Alan has the special spots, and you just wait quietly and you don't move, and then all of a sudden the forest is just alive with blue fireflies, and they don't flicker. It's a steady blue light, and then they're gone. And then you leave and you hike out in the dark, and it is magical.
Yeah, that it is. We had a really good year for it too. That was That was fun last year.
Hmm.
I liked our sleep maxing podcast with
Oh, yes.
Teresa. That one was good.
Yes. Teresa's favorite topic, sleep. It's so important. That was an excellent episode. We're actually, we haven't executed this yet, but we have been, did you ever watch Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember they would sometimes they would have cartoons and they would overlay like an actual audio of people talking or a news conference or, so when Teresa did that podcast, you took the video. And the video is great because it's Teresa and she's giving great information, but it's just, Teresa talking in the podcast booth. So we were thinking about maybe creating animation and overlaying it over some of the things that she says. So we've been experimenting with it.
Oh, that'd be neat.
Yeah.
Don't do that with mine. That'd be good. You could Blue Ghost it.
Oh, we could do it with you talking about being a Giants fan.
Oh God. Be like fire and sadness, tears.
Yeah, puddle of tears.
Like a rainy day, like somebody walking through a park and their umbrella breaks and like a car drives by and splashes them. And
and the person's wearing like a Jackson Dart jersey.
Cam Scatterby jersey, yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we had some good episodes this past year.
Yeah.
I wanted to reminisce for a minute with you. I think that's always a good thing to do and fun. We started our year off with How to Live Forever. I don't know if you remember that series.
Yeah.
And it's, in a way, kind of about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. And before we get into the topic, Alan, I just want to thank you for all of the work that you do on the podcast. You are the person who keeps this podcast going, and I just show up with my computer and have a conversation with you that's lovely. You maintain the podcast booth, you produce this podcast, you make sure that it sounds expert level. So thank you for all that.
Of course. It's a team effort, though. I can't take even near half credit for it because we all put a lot of effort and love into making it happen. You know, there's people that publish it. You and I do a ton of planning on this thing. Like we already just talked about planning out our episodes for this year and 2026, which is wild, coming up. And so, yeah, I appreciate you and all the work that you do on this as well. It's, one person can't roll the massive ball that is the podcast up the hill. It takes a whole crew of us to do that for sure.
And listeners, thanks to you too for your support and for listening and for liking and rating and sharing us with your friends.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times in 2025 we had past guests and new guests come up to me and say things like, I felt like I knew you because I listened to you on the podcast before, or I listened to that. What's your podcast called? Oh yeah, Inspired Intentions. It's with like in one of my classes, or I listened to this topic and that's what made me come here, or I have those conversations all the time because I have that FaceTime and that's really special. So, that ball rolling up the hill, pushing it doesn't exist without you guys.
Yeah.
So we thoroughly appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Well, our topic for today, Alan and I were in a meeting yesterday, and we asked everyone in that meeting, what is one piece of advice you want our guests to carry with them into 2026? So listeners, this is for you. This is advice from several different members of our team, different perspectives, different outlooks, different interactions with guests. So if even one of these speaks to you today, then we would be really happy. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right. The first piece of advice for 2026, this is from Teresa, our general manager. And she said the key for 2026 is consistency. Get back to consistency. Take the Skyterra pillars and be consistent when you fall. And we're all going to fall. Stand back up when you do fall. Be consistent. Our Skyterra pillars, of course, are pillars of wellness: movement, play, rest, nutrition, and mindfulness. And those are all so simple, such simple concepts. Be consistent with them as much as you can, and don't take falling as a reason to get off track. Just stand back up, like she says, get back on track. Her other piece of advice is 5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. So even if you go for a 5-minute walk, that's better than not going for a walk at all. And that's going to just continue to build, especially if you're focused on consistency.
Great advice. Great advice. Those Skyterra pillars can be a very powerful thing, even if you just implement one this year.
Yes.
Love that. Our next piece of unsolicited advice comes from Debbie, our HR director, a good friend of mine. Debbie says, and I love this one, this is very Debbie, carry gratitude with you into 2026 and savor every moment you can. I put a note in here because this reminds me of a couple of country songs that I like. I have I believe it's Kenny Chesney, but "Don't Blink" is a good one, and then there's another one called "Buy Dirt," and they talk about how it all goes by real quick, and I think that can also play back to Teresa's point of if you fall down, get back up. 5 minutes is better than none because it all goes by real quick. You got to savor every moment, good and the bad. You got to learn from it all, and that is a timeless piece of advice from Debbie. Gratitude goes a really long ways in savoring every moment.
Yeah. I love the simplicity of her advice too. That's really what it's about, is just enjoy who you're with when you're with them.
100%.
Okay, the next piece of advice. All right, Alan's laughing. We almost didn't include this, but then we decided to include it. So Patrick, who's our director of operations, he is the person who makes everything work behind the scenes. He doesn't often interact with guests, and he is just the person at Skyterra that we all know that we can count on, from facilities, from he calls himself anything that plugs into the wall, he is in charge of. So the mechanics of our website, our Google ads, everyone sits down with him and works out their budget for the new year. So anyhow, Patrick is very, very important to Skyterra. His piece of advice, which I feel like is how he often approaches decisions that we're making in meetings, is expect the worst, hope for the best.
That's why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it's a very Patrick thing to say.
Yes. And that is, he's a planner. He makes sure that he has contingency plans upon contingency plans. He's very knowledgeable about the world and what's happening in current events, and he remains a hopeful person.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's not saying like manifest or dwell upon what could be the worst scenario, but it's also not saying don't think about it. It's just kind of saying, you got to expect that things aren't going to go perfectly, but the optimism needs to stay there, and go back to Debbie, be grateful for when it does.
Yes.
I've got the next one here from Ryan, our director of things fitness. Ryan's been on here several times, the Norwegian 4x4 podcast and many others. Ryan works directly with our guests all the time, does a absolutely amazing job of connecting with folks and really showing up for people that are trying to make change in their life. Ryan's advice in this new year is to try and prioritize the process over the outcomes. He says that we become infatuated on trying to get an end result. What we should be doing is getting addicted to the doing. And, I couldn't agree more. Like, Ryan and I have had this conversation where you need to know where you're going, but you have to fall in love and get addicted with the steps to get there. And that will make it so much easier. Life is often about the decisions you make and the actions that you take. You can plan for whatever you want to, but if you don't take that step forward, whether it be 5 minutes, like Teresa was saying, or an hour, you got to take those steps.
Reminds me of something I know we've talked about on the podcast before, is instead of, like Ryan says, focusing on the end result, change your mindset so that it's, I'm the kind of person who does X. I'm the kind of person who moves my body every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person who prioritizes strength training and just a shift in that thinking. Like he says, get addicted to the doing, enjoy that process
Mm-hmm.
instead of focusing on, this is the end point.
Yeah, we call that like an identity statement. Like I am the type of person that is, true change is identity change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a great one. As we head into the new year, there's a lot of noise out there about doing more, fixing yourself, and starting over. At Skyterra, we see New Year's a little differently. We believe it's not about becoming someone new. It's about continuing to care for the person you already are. And that's exactly why we created the Skyterra at Home app. Skyterra at Home is your personalized wellness companion, designed to help you stay connected to the progress you made at Skyterra or begin to build those habits if you're a part of our extended Skyterra family. It brings the heart of our retreat into your everyday life. So wellness doesn't feel like something you do once a year, but something more that you live. In the app, you'll find ongoing coaching and support in movement, nutrition, mindfulness, lifestyle habits, the same holistic approach we use on campus. Now it's just more accessible. You'll have tailored workouts created by the same team who support our guests, nutrition guidance and recipes from our registered dietitian, and simple tools to help you track progress without obsession or feeling overwhelmed. One of the most powerful parts, the community. Skyterra at Home gives you a place to stay connected to our coaches, peers, and people who understand that real change happens through consistency, compassion, and support. This year, instead of starting over, we invite you to keep going, to build on what you've already learned, to stay supported, to move forward, one intentional day at a time. If you're ready to bring Skyterra Wellness into your everyday life, step 1, go to skyterrawellness.com/at-home. This is where you sign up. Step 2, go into your app store and download the Skyterra at Home app. Take that information that you signed up with, put it into the app, you're ready to go. We hope you love it as much as we do.
Okay, this next one, this is from Ina. And Ina, we have not had her on the podcast yet because she's very new to Skyterra. Ina is our fantastic new gardener. And before I give you her advice, 2 things about Ina. Number 1, she was working on some of the grasses, the ornamental grasses that we have around campus, and noticed some. Do you know this, Alan?
I'm
okay.
all ears here.
Okay. She was working on some of the grasses, and she noticed some praying mantis nests in the area, and she saw those and decided to braid the grasses so that the praying manti, so that the groups of the praying mantis
I don't know which one's right.
I don't either. Neither sounds right. Anyhow,
I'll look it up. Continue your story.
She braided the ornamental grasses so they would have a warm place to stay this summer. So if you look, some of the grasses, like on the corner of this building, have braiding up diagonally through them for those nests that she saw. So that's the first thing. The second is I was sharing an office with her this morning, and I let her know about this podcast. And I asked her if she would have some advice. And she was in the middle of sketching a garden, just pen and paper, just sketching out where she wanted plants to go. And I just, that is so impressive to me, is just the way that your brain works when you're making art with plants and flowers. And anyhow, so her, did you find what it was?
I did. Really cool. The braiding, by the way. I had no idea what that was, what exactly that was for. That's really cool. Praying mantis, the most common and widely accepted plural.
Oh.
So not manti. It's like moose and moose.
Oh, okay.
Mantees, praying mantees. Less common, still considered correct.
Okay.
MANTE.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that.
The more you know. 2026. You're welcome, everyone.
Yes. Okay. So in addition to that lesson, Ina says, stay curious and be open to all of the possibilities. which I think is just really neat from our newest team member.
Absolutely. I like that one.
Yeah.
Diana, lovely guest services. Everybody knows Diana, smiling face at the front door. We actually have a podcast planned out with Diana that I love coming up that I think you all will love as well.
Yes.
Diana says, "You are enough." So many of our guests come to us feeling inadequate in various ways. I hope that when they head home, they feel renewed, but also that the person they are is lovable and worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that beautiful?
Diana, she is such a welcoming, warm presence.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times she is the first in-person team member that our guests meet. And I think she just allows guests to be vulnerable in such a beautiful way. And she has such a way of uplifting people. She really probably has her pulse on, how people are feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Being that like first face at the door,
Yeah.
People come talk to her often. I know that this is a message in various ways that she's presented to many people over her tenure here, which is, I think, awesome.
And then similar to that, Marissa, who is not only our culinary director, but our employee of the year.
Oh, yeah. 2025 Employee of the Year.
Yes. Alan, 2021 Employee of the Year.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was 2023 Employee of the Year with Patrick in between us.
Mm-hmm. And then
Kenzie
after Patrick, and then Marissa.
Yep.
Well deserved.
Yes. So congratulations to Marissa. Marissa is someone, I think it's a similar message to Diana. And she meets guests in that way, in a similar way that Diana does. And her message is, and I'm going to change what she said a little bit so that it sounds like I'm speaking directly to you, dear listener. You are already perfect as you are. You may need to find multiple facets of balance or to tweak some things in your life, but you are already a whole and complete person on your own and beautiful inside and out. Which really, I think, describes Marissa too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think right after she goes, "Oh, I didn't mean for that to sound so cheesy."
Yeah.
it's Marissa.
Yeah. So loving.
It's awesome. And I think Kenzie's is, in a way, a similar message kind of to Diana and Marissa. I think that they all present a very valid and powerful similar point.
Yeah.
And I think Kenzie's is seemingly the way she spoke about it. I felt like this was something that she implemented in her life and then felt it has helped her along the way. Kenzie says, slowing down and being more intentional. If we do things with intentionality, life feels more fulfilled and we find more joy. Take your typical schedule of how you live and pair it with more intentionality. When brushing your teeth, say an affirmation. At breakfast, say something kind. We get stuck in our routines. Take time to fill up yourself and others. If you're doing something consistent every single day all year long, where will you be in a year from now?
Her example when she shared this was often, Kenzie has 3 kids and mornings can be hectic.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, she's often, right at the time where they need to leave for school, she's saying, where's your lunchbox? Where's your hat? Where's your coat? Got to keep moving. You're going to be late. And that's not going to change. But backing up, she said, if everyone at breakfast before all of that chaos happens took the time to say something kind to each other, it might just change the way mornings feel in the house. And so I really liked that too. She's really thoughtful about making changes in her life, especially when it comes to gratitude.
Yeah, definitely something she's implemented and has been very powerful for her.
Yeah.
Rachel, you're up.
Okay.
I would love to hear your 2026 advice for our listeners.
It seems like everybody else gave such lovely advice and almost advice for the heart. I have something that is a little bit different. This is a little bit more tactical, a lot more tactical. But it worked for me in 2025, and I did a little bit of research. And this actually goes back to Ben Franklin, which, who doesn't love Ben Franklin? That's so cool. He, every single day, detailed out his schedule for the day, and he divided his day into specific periods. And then in each of those periods, each was dedicated to a task or an activity. So he would block off times for work, times for meal, time for reading, time for reflection. So time blocking, I mean, for a lot of us, time blocking is going to happen naturally because you start your job at a certain time, you leave at a certain time. There are meal times in there, and I think that can really easily take over. Of course, because we are all so busy, it can take over your days. But if you block off in your calendar 1 hour every week for the one thing that you want to do differently in 2026, and you stay really faithful to that block, it can have a huge impact. And let me give you my example. So I wanted to spend more time on cultural things, going to museums, going to plays, spending more time, not just reading, but reading poetry, which I really enjoy. So I put my calendar Thursdays at 5 p.m., a block, 5 to 6. And that was my date with myself to do something artistic, do something cultural. And I went to so many different museums. I went to museums that I thought, I will go to that someday. And that someday happened. I was able to write more, just not for work, but write creatively. I was able to read more, and it just really helped for me. So I think it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'll just, I'll keep that in my head. But when you put it in your calendar, it's a date with yourself. And that's something that really worked for me.
From the tenacity
Yeah, I was going to say,
side of
yes,
things.
that sometimes that tenacity, which is, and we've talked before on the podcast about how Skyterra uses the working genius model, and mine is tenacity, which is getting things done. And, sometimes that can take over. So this was where I thought, instead of, being really tenacious about keeping my inbox completely empty and my apartment completely clean and no laundry to do, I blocked it for myself. And it just, especially for my kind of personality, it really worked.
I love it. It's
Thanks,
good.
Alan.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
I think that anybody that would implement something such as that would find joy and benefit in it.
I am grateful to early 2025 Rachel for doing that, because it was really awesome. Okay, Alan, and let's take it home.
Let's take it home. Mine is short and sweet, and I'll explain why. My advice for this year for everyone is centered around adventure. I think when I said it in our meeting, I was like, mine is always centered around adventure, and that's probably pretty accurate. I'm going to say don't lose your sense of adventure and wonder. We can become very stagnant throughout the year as life sets in, and we go for the easy stuff sometimes. I think it's important to keep changing it up. I think it's important to look for those new fun opportunities. My angle of this is I love to fish, and I can often find myself trapped in just doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I love to go to this place. We're going to take this vacation. We do this every single year. Let's just do it again. But yet I would find it almost more fulfilling sometimes if I did something new and different and didn't catch a single fish.
Really?
You can make whatever analogy you want out of that. You can kind of get the gist of it. But yeah, really, like, I think that sometimes even if something is very, very different and it doesn't go exactly how you want to, if you are seeking a sense of adventure in your life, it can really enrich your life. And so for me,
I love that, Alan.
obviously in this upcoming year, I think that we're going to be doing some different stuff than what we've done in the past with our time. Fishing trips and things. And one of the big ones when I say we is I'm getting married this year.
I was going to say, what's your big adventure?
Yeah, right. Like that's going to be a huge one. And,
Yeah.
like a honeymoon, there's a lot of, low hanging fruit. We could just go do this thing that we know we would enjoy doing for a week, but let's do something completely outside of the box. Let's do something different, whatever that thing is.
Did you make a plan yet?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, we generally know the direction that we're going to go in. We have two things that we want to do. I mean, I can just tell you, like,
Yeah.
we really want to go to New Zealand. Our wedding isn't around a time that you would do that.
Okay.
So that's not going to happen. It's like winter there when we're going to be getting married, and we want to go fishing there. And so it's, that's like a big sense of adventure. Like, we have a list of places that we want to go travel and see. And that's at the very top of it. And then, so it's like, well, what would be new and different? So, for instance, Lydia has never been out west. So that's going to be, I think, what we do.
Fun.
And I'm going to find somewhere that I also haven't been. Again, the low-hanging fruit would be to go to like West Yellowstone. I love that place. She's never been. I've been a ton. I love it. It's beautiful. But I think we should do something else and keep that sense of adventure. And you never know, you might find something even cooler than what you think you know.
If there is one couple that should go on an adventure for their honeymoon, it is you and Lydia.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, we really want to. Obviously, that's a lot of things come into play with that, but that's what we want to do.
Thanks so much, Alan. That's great.
Yeah, apply it to your lives. I think you can find some fulfillment in that.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, listeners. We here at Skyterra wish you the very, very best in 2026. We hope it's your happiest, healthiest year yet.
Absolutely. And we got some great podcast episodes coming out for you this year. We expect to release, again, like we did this past year, at least one a month, maybe a few more. And we hope you guys find those fulfilling and helpful this year.
Thanks, Alan. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Looking forward to it.
Bye, listeners.
Bye, everyone.
The Inspired Intentions podcast is a production of Skyterra Wellness Retreat. Special thanks to our executive producer, Alan Broyhill. Send us your questions and comments to inspiredintentions@skyterrawellness.com. Subscribe on iTunes and everywhere podcasts can be found. If someone you know might benefit from this podcast, share Inspired Intentions with them and give us a 5-star rating. Join us next week as we cut through the unrealistic noise on diets and fitness and show you how healthy living fits seamlessly into your already busy life. Thanks for listening.